I am walking past the abandoned mine at the edge of the valley, a place people stopped using years ago but never fully secured. The ground feels wrong beneath my boots, uneven, recently disturbed. The air smells of damp earth and metal. Nothing moves, nothing warns me. Then the silence breaks with a low, hollow collapse from underground, followed by a sharp, panicked sound that does not belong to the mine. I freeze and drop to my knees near the broken entrance. A narrow shaft opens below me, its wooden support beams cracked and splintered, hanging at dangerous angles. Fresh dirt slides down the walls in small streams. Dust fills the space, thick and heavy, catching the thin beam of light that slips down from the surface. Far below, in a small pocket of space surrounded by rubble, a child is trapped. The child does not scream. The child coughs. Small movements stir the dust again, making the darkness thicker. Rocks and debris press in from all sides, jagged stone and exposed earth threatening to shift at any moment. I can see how little room there is to breathe, how fragile the remaining air must be in that sealed chamber. As I lean closer, the dust begins to move in an unnatural way, drifting sideways instead of falling. From a shadowed side tunnel, something low and tense emerges. A honey badger crawls forward, its body coated in dirt, eyes wide and alert, teeth bared not in aggression but urgency. It moves between fallen debris without hesitation, stopping only to look up at me, then back toward the trapped child. The mine creaks again. A wooden beam cracks louder this time, splintering further. Pebbles rain down into the darkness. The light shaft narrows as dust thickens. Oxygen is running out, and the space is shrinking by the second. The honey badger steps closer to the edge, claws scraping stone, insisting without sound. It does not retreat. It does not flee. It stays there, locked between the collapsing mine and the child who cannot escape alone. I understand then that this is no longer just a collapse. The mine does not settle. It continues to shift, breathe, and tighten around everything inside it. Every grain of dirt that falls feels deliberate. Like a warning, the structure no longer intends to hold. The air grows heavier with dust, each breath costing more effort than the last. The child's movements slow even further. The small pocket of space does not shrink visibly, but I can feel it closing in, defined by pressure and silence rather than walls. Oxygen is no longer a concept. It is a timer I cannot see but know is running. The honey badger moves restlessly through the rubble, reacting to vibrations before they become sound. Its claws test the ground, finding paths where collapse has not yet claimed control. It avoids the worst fractures instinctively, never stepping where the earth hums too sharply beneath its weight. Another beam cracks. This one does not splinter slowly. It shifts, drops a few inches and holds, forcing a cascade of dirt and stone into the shaft. The dust thickens into a constant haze, swallowing light and depth. The beam of my headlamp feels smaller now, weaker against the dark. The walls begin to shed layers of fresh earth. Pebbles become rocks. Rocks threaten to become slabs. Every impact sends vibrations through the floor beneath me. The mine is not finished collapsing. It is deciding how. The honey badger freezes, body low, head lifted. It senses something deeper, heavier. A pressure change moves through the shaft, and the dust swirls in a slow, unnatural spiral. The space grows tighter without moving. The child coughs again, a small, dry movement that stirs the dust, and then stillness. The air pocket is no longer safe. It is temporary. The countdown is no longer theoretical. I understand then that waiting will only let the mind choose the outcome. If anything is going to change, it has to happen now. I stop treating the mine like a place and start treating it like a structure that can still be negotiated. Every movement above sends information below, and every vibration below answers back. I shift my weight slowly, choosing stability over speed, knowing that a single careless action could finish the collapse. I secure myself at the edge and lower my body just enough to extend my reach without disturbing the shaft walls. My helmet light stays fixed on the same narrow path, not scanning, not searching, conserving clarity in the dust. I begin clearing loose rocks by hand, removing only what is already unstable, never forcing resistance. The honey badger reacts immediately. It adjusts its position closer to the child, pressing its body against the rubble where the earth threatens to slide inward. Its movements are deliberate, using weight and placement rather than strength, preventing small shifts from becoming fatal slides. I pull a compact emergency breathing mask from my pack, designed for confined spaces and limited oxygen. I attach it to a thin, flexible air hose, measuring the distance carefully before committing. The space is tight, the margin unforgiving. If the hose snags, I lose both time and control. Dust continues to fall as I lower the hose slowly into the shaft, guiding it through the safest visible channel. The beam of my headlamp follows it downward, illuminating only what is necessary. The mine responds with low groans, but holds. The honey badger moves again, clearing a narrow channel with its claws, pushing debris away from the child's face and chest. Its body shields the child from falling dust, taking impacts meant for smaller lungs. The hose reaches the air pocket pocket. The child reacts instantly, drawing the mask close without panic, guided by survival rather than instruction. Breathing stabilizes. The frantic edge of the situation dulls slightly, though the danger remains. This is not rescue yet. This is borrowed time, and borrowed time must be spent perfectly. The mind makes its decision without warning. The pressure that has been building finally releases, not as a full collapse, but as a violent shift that redefines every surface inside the shaft. The structure does not fail all at once. It fails in stages, and that makes it more dangerous. A major support beam gives way partially, dropping just enough to change the balance of the entire chamber. The walls respond immediately, shedding heavy slabs of earth and stone. The shaft narrows in real time, not closing but tightening with lethal precision. I do not pull back. I lower myself further, reducing the angle of the hose and absorbing vibration through my body instead of the shaft. Every instinct says retreat, but retreat would transfer force directly into the collapsing space below. The honey badger reacts before the debris fully falls. It presses its body flat against the rubble, widening its stance and forcing loose material away from the child's air pocket. Dust and stones strike its back and slide off, redirected by position rather than resistance. The child's breathing stutters as debris lands closer, but the mask remains sealed. The hose bends sharply, threatening to kink. I adjust instantly, rotating my grip just enough to restore airflow without moving my center of mass. The mine roars silently through motion alone. Beams grind, earth compresses, and the space reshapes itself violently around the three of us. Visibility drops to near zero as dust becomes a solid presence. Then the movement slows, not because the danger has passed, but because the mine has reached a temporary equilibrium. The wrong move now would restart everything. I hold position, knowing that this moment decides whether the mountain releases us or finishes the burial. The mine does not collapse again. Instead, it releases tension in small, controlled shifts, like a breath finally exhaled. The pressure eases just enough to tell me the structure has chosen stability over destruction, at least for now. I take advantage of the moment without rushing it. Slowly, carefully, I widen the opening above by removing only loose debris, never touching anything that resists. Each stone I lift changes the airflow, and the dust responds by thinning instead of thickening. Light reaches deeper. The honey badger senses the change immediately. It lifts its body for the first time, no longer pressed flat by survival. Its posture relaxes, but it stays close to the child, alert and protective until the danger truly passes. With the opening stabilized, I lower myself further and secure a harness line, converting the shaft from a trap into a controlled extraction path. The hose remains steady. The child's breathing is calm now, measured, no longer rushed by fear. I reach the air pocket at last. The space is tight, but it holds. I secure the child, guiding the body gently, keeping movements small and deliberate. The honey badger steps aside just enough to allow the transfer, never leaving the child's side until contact is complete. Together, we move upward. The mine does not fight us, it holds. When we emerge into open air, dust covered and intact, the weight of the mountain finally releases. The child is alive, breathing freely, safe. The honey badger pauses at the edge of the shaft, looks once more at the light, then turns and disappears back into the depths it mastered. I stand there longer than necessary, knowing that what could have ended in silence instead ends in life. The mine closes behind us, but it does not take anything with it.